The Secret Prison of Pamoka. And Krifma Shroud, he's in here as well. Kind of the most notable character we've seen in quite a while. Unfortunately, we're not going to really be able to do too much to him with the whole, like, being locked inside of a cell, but, well, I'm the Nomad soul. How do you think this is going to end?
Oh, you've been moved to a torture chamber. Is that right?
Well, I'm in a cell, ready to go into a torture chamber. Anyway, as it turns out, I didn't need to do anything related to actually, like, transferring bodies. I just need to use the bowl?
So, also, I want to point out, we are still right next to Jenna's cell. Is that right?
Yep.
And it's just that there are two separate entrances to get there, and there's only like a half inch of concrete, because it's been established we can basically hear each other at conversational volumes.
Yes.
Also, apparently there's an empty space next to the cell where Jenna's cell would be.
Look, let's not think too much about that.
Okay.
Well, let's check out the next major area that we're in here. Kind of like a giant dome. Got like electric fencing around there. Slider kind of sitting around on the bottom. I do think one of the things we haven't actually seen at this point in time is that you can go into manual mode with sliders. So far, I've just been using it as like fast travel, but it's like, it's, you know,
So you got out?
might be something to think about for later. So yeah, maybe the wall's a little bit, I don't know. Look, whatever. Is that like wood paneling behind me, by the way?
We can't get out that easily.
The design decisions seem kind of weird in here, but you know what? Let's just say that Mashrood is a very eclectic character. Comes to designing his cells. Damn, I want those rings in there.
Yeah, just leave me in prison. Like, I'll have a better chance of escaping if you come back here once you have a plan.
To be fair, it's like, do you really think that Jen is going to start doing something now?
Just like, oh yeah,
You've been so helpful before.
Look, just come back when you've thought of a plan and also fix everything. I'm gonna take a little nap here.
Well, anyway, as you can see, now I have access to all of my items again, so it should be pretty obvious where this is going.
So this is kind of a Metroidvania mechanic here, where you find access to all your items after you'd been denied them for a period of time. Or wait, on the opposite.
For a period of time. It was real rough dealing with only having a bowl there to my name, but
yeah, only the one item that would actually solve all your problems in that moment. So that was
yeah.
really
I mean,
frustrating.
this is speaking of which, it's like I don't want to do this, but you can't walk through the door without doing this. Straight up, it's just like I can't attract attention. If you try to go through the door, he just throws you right back in the prison. So, bye, Sayao. I'm gonna miss you. I don't know why they didn't just do that when we were in the cell, because I guess maybe it would have been a little bit gruesome to have Sayao die or something, but
So you're inhabiting...
Although it's not entirely clear if she didn't just die anyway. That's kind of what Kale looked like when we did the... That's kind of a weird thing with reincarnation, if I'm being honest with you. It is not entirely clear what happens to the person after you reincarnate.
So why did you have to heal after you did that?
Oh, it takes a lot of mana to be able to do that.
Oh, okay.
And also, I was just low on health anyway. I don't know if you saw that one area when we were back in the secret factory. Yeah, this guy's a real dirtbag. We saw, like that one area. There were like 3 guys with all with automatic weapons that, of course, attacked me as soon as I opened up the door. So I took quite a bit of hits. Yeah. So when you reincarnate, it's not entirely clear what happens to the person.
No problem.
Though I gotta admit, for Sayao, even if she didn't die, and again, Kale looked exactly like that when I got out of his body. Yeah.
So
she is still stuck in a prison where she is going to be tortured for weeks by the secret police. Thanks for the thanks for the trip, Sayao.
Yeah, also, just for no purpose, just like, you just end up there, it's like, it wasn't me, I didn't do anything. I swear to God, I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, likely story. That's what everyone says. Anyway, we're gonna have to torture you for the next... month, and then you're gonna
So
die.
even if Sayao didn't die by me reincarnating, she's super dead now.
Yeah, and we're just gonna. Yeah, well, I don't know why I ended up here. Why did somebody do that to me? Where they just left me outside the?
Well,
I don't know.
she was listed as being wanted by all the police in Omikron. Remember how that was a thing?
Yeah.
By the way, you can't actually move until Jenna walks the entire way there, which is pretty fun. Well, that's
Where are you going, prisoner?
It's one of those weird, troubling things about Omikron, where it's like, I'm kind of like purposely taking over people's bodies and then leaving them to die places.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody's going to talk about that or
orders.
anything. We're not going to address that at all.
Well, no.
It's actually like one of the most disturbing things about like the entire game, if I'm being real with you. It hasn't really come up too much since, the only other person that we've reincarnated into was Kale.
Mm-hmm.
And he was already dead.
Yeah.
But, it's just, if you do actually start to use the reincarnation spell a lot. Oh, anyway, that's Pamoka. If you use the reincarnation spell a lot,
traitor among us.
like,
Someone informed
yeah.
Mashroot of our plans, and he
are you
set it up
killing
for
all
us.
these people when you do that?
Yeah, and it's like it'd be fine if that's like your moral.
By the way, that
quandary.
was Pamoka.
What?
We're done with
That sort of
Pamoka.
accusation
We're back
is
in the
too
awakened
serious to
base.
be made lightly.
That was the. So we're back.
That was the
in-
entire thing.
Investigation at the base
We're
and
back in
find the
Johnford.
culprit.
We're back in
We
Johnford.
might find clues
Now we're
while
gonna
I
go to the
search.
third area eventually, but that was just a preview. That was not.
You must
No, that
not
was not in the
arouse
third
our
area. That was
suspicion
the
until we
the
have
secret
proof.
base of Pamoka. I don't even know where it was.
Oh, okay. Well, it's done now.
It's done now, though.
So who cares?
What about
Okay.
Krifma Shroud? What about, like, Sayao?
They're done.
They're done. We're done with them.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't
Well-
Krifma Shroud supposed to be, like, one of the most major characters in the entire game? Yeah, he doesn't appear again.
I
Hope you liked his little cameo in the game. Like, so what about, like, going through the entire prison and, like, escape? That was it.
that was it. That was the whole escape.
That was the whole escape.
So this seems like a good time. You mentioned to me before we started recording. There's a trick. There's a new thing. There's a second turning point.
Yeah, it's the second turning point, and I think that kind of says everything you need to know. That I'm gonna call this like the Pamoka escape episode or something. And it's what are we looking at here? 5 minutes. Just to keep everybody on their toes. Anyway, I don't suspect Krill. I suspect Namtar because it's fucking Namtar. We said that. It's the most yes, Rat Man. Why are you making me say that? Well, no, it's not me. Don't forget Reservoir of Souls, etc. This is whoever the other person is. Maybe they suspect Krill. I don't.
Some other player from some other place on Earth. It's
Yeah.
the person
This
who
is like
suggested it.
Jeff. Also from Earth, but I'm controlling his body. Look, he stopped. He gave up on the game during the Zone 22 roof section. So I've just kind of taken over for him. I miss Sayao already.
Yeah, this is such a dumb, like, boring character. Like, it's weird how much that just like. I mean, first of all, he's got nothing. He's packing nothing.
Well, he's certainly packing some really broad shoulders, but other than that, his run animation sucks. I hate him. I hate Zaur.
He seems like such a cheap, like an archetypal cop, but not one that they spent a lot of money on. Like,
I mean, he's supposed to be like he's still like in his secret prison outfit the entire time. Whatever. Socks, didn't you say that you were going to take him into, bomb storage to check? Whatever. Anyway, let's snoop.
and just like this whole thing where you're jumping characters, it's surprisingly like deflating in terms of like any residual momentum because you don't even have a permanent presence. Like, because the writing.
Well, I get his apartment key. That's kind of cool. Like, I can go to his apartment and go steal all his stuff.
Like,
which again, it's like even if these characters do not die, this feels like is nobody gonna say anything about like what again kind of like a dirtbag the fucking Nomad soul is? Me, not me, Jeff.
Like it's such a it's a violation of rules.
So you can use that screwdriver. You can try to figure out where to use that screwdriver. But oh my God, Meshcon's dead.
Oh wow. Meshkan!
Ah, you gave him 10 rings for him to not tell me much of anything of use. Jesus Christ, let's go tell everybody. Well, now we don't even have a problem with just a traitor. People have been murdered. Jenna!
How did you
I have nothing new
survive-
to tell Jenna.
You went to a prison and you escaped, and that was
I have nothing new to tell Jenna.
nothing new.
Nothing new at all. Meshkan, the soothsayer and local priest, died. I don't... nothing at all. Well, whatever. Dakova. Meshkan fucking died.
Like, God,
I have nothing new to tell Dakova.
also,
Nothing at all.
Dagobah, is that a Dagobah reference, like from
I
Star
have
Wars?
no idea.
Okay. They, I don't know.
Probably.
Okay. God.
Namtar. No, that he's not even in.
You know, it's weird because like it's so garish to have you just
These
change
two
your-
random Java NPCs that I've never actually like interacted. You know, we were gonna suspect anybody. Wouldn't it be? Well, more important things. Socks. Meshkan fucking died. No, nothing.
Nope.
Somebody died here. Anybody? Guy that brought me into the base that I forgot the name of already. Oh, there's Namtar. No. Namtar! I've got nothing new to tell
That's a
Namtar.
really nice dancing animation. That's like the most.
What's a
fluid-
fighting animation?
Oh, fighting.
Yeah, you can actually spar with him to like get experience with fighting, but whatever.
Okay, yeah, but I mean, he seems
Also,
like
I guess I'm just stealing from Namtar now. Whatever. We know he's the villain anyway. Nothing new to tell anyone, by the way.
well, did
so
that
I
guy
guess-
die or whatever? Isn't that news?
I guess we're just gonna go back and go steal Meshkan's stuff.
We need to steal
This
all
is,
this stuff
like,
and then
this-
report that there's been a theft.
Is this really what we? You know, the game has not been this bad about this before.
Yeah, so when you said the game is falling apart, we were mostly referring to mechanics, right? Like in the
The
last
glitchiness
episode.
certainly, but I do think that it's
But
like
it's starting to fall apart story-wise too. Like,
Yeah. I mean, well, you know, I noticed we saw Pamoka. We saw this particular section, where it's just like, certainly, you remember like back in Anakba, when things happened, we had new stuff to talk about, like with the
yeah,
characters.
there was like a linear.
And now we've found a character dead and got nothing new to tell Dakaba.
Yeah. Like,
Well,
I
anyway,
gotta
there's
say,
a demon from the second circle here. It might be Krill. It's not.
like this. It's weird because like just changing to this police officer or prison guard or whatever I can't express how much it's completely dampened the enthusiasm for this game, and I want to say it's because like
That's acid.
something you take for granted in video games is that your character is your character, and even if they're really dumb, they give you some sort of permanent presence on the map. Hey, I'm controlling this person. This is my character.
Well, I mean, I'm still the Nomad Soul, except no, wait, I'm not. Reservoir of Souls, and now I'm controlling Jeff.
I feel like the entire Nomad Soul premise was put in at a late stage in the game to cover up for some problem.
Oh, no way, no way. That was clearly, they
That
just
w-
didn't know how to incorporate it into the gameplay.
Oh, okay. Huh.
I can guarantee that. Have you seen kind of like how badly they've incorporated a lot of other stuff so far? Well, anyway, Meshkan's key does not actually open up the shut cabinet in his place. It opens up this thing, which was locked. So I guess that kind of makes some sense.
I mean, it's like we're just like anytime at this point, if the game makes some kind of sense, we're like, oh yeah, that okay.
Yeah,
You're not completely dead.
Yeah, I mean, it's... One of the things I haven't actually talked about at this point is that if you can't really quite figure out what to do at this point in time, you know, you got like the advice ring thing, where you can pay like 3 rings to go get advice. Well, a lot of the time, if you try to do that, it just gives you a message that says, haha, idiot, you wasted your rings. It's super obvious what you should be doing right now. And if you say didn't notice the scratch marks on the floor there, and you just went to go talk to the rings, like maybe somebody, let's say Jeff, did... It just says, haha, thanks for wasting your rings, idiot. which makes you really wonder why you even put that whole thing in the game in the first place. But whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, this was actually the spell that we got all the way back in the library itself. One of the ones that we didn't have to go buy from the Anakba bookstore. Spell to unmask demon, but of course it didn't have Dew of Light or Shamhorn before, so Meshkan had to die, and I had to get his key from there.
So,
and he was holding out on us. He had some Dew of Light.
This feels like, in a certain way, you played the original Half-Life, the first Half-Life, right?
Yes.
Okay, this feels like the last level of Half-Life when they ran out of money, except that was before they ran out of money in this game.
Nah.
Now,
Hey,
you
look, it's a
mentioned
lament configuration.
before we recorded this that they did run out of money. Was it at a specific point?
They super run out of money from this point. This game sticks. Everything that you've seen up until this point was the most idealized version of it. But even in Hura, it was starting to kind of the cracks were starting to show. Now they just... when you hit Pamoka, especially, it's just oh, they don't have money to do anything anymore, do they? We're rushing to the end, baby.
Oh yeah, so Namtar is a demon. So
there we go. Oh boy, what a shock!
I like that they just after all that bullshit, all the exposition, all the different MacGuffins and stuff, they're just Namtar is a traitor.
He's got a lament configuration, and it's whenever somebody picks it up, it just says, "Yo, Namtar's a demon." Whatever. Also, as you can see, there's a lot of stuff I have got nothing new to tell Jenna. Now, Namtar's a demon, Meshkan died, whatever. Look, we're ferrying you to a specific point in the game because we don't have money to record any more lines for Jenna or Dagobah. So, great. Every time with this guy.
Accept this modest gift.
I hate this guy.
3 interlinking.
Every time you come here, it's always a lot of garbage. And last time it was glitchy trains and dogs that were floating in the air combined together.
Mm-hmm. Also, now that I'm looking at this is this. They clearly did all of this, and then they're well, we've got to reuse this asset. It's this is cool. This is what's.
He'll get explained eventually, but it's not going to be very satisfying. I'll tell you that right now. Namtar, I don't know why I need to have the weird wizard man talk to me, but anyway, check this thing out. Whoa, that's cool. Anyway, I'm a demon. I'm a bionicle demon.
Well, I'm a demon. I'm a demon.
Yeah, so it's not a big it's just a single fight, it seems. It didn't really seem entirely necessary to give me the whole wizard spiel, but maybe that was again part of the game that I was talking about way early on, where I think they maybe originally intended to have it autosave during everything, and then that was going to be Wizard Man was going to be your only way of redoing sections, but then obviously they just implemented a save system anyway.
It looks kind of like a kangaroo, just a little Joey.
In the name of
that was a scene transition.
what you've done by uncovering the tower, you have saved us from great.
All right.
That was unexpected. Yeah,
nothing. Not even a crossfade.
That wasn't you. That wasn't you editing the video.
Nope. That was how it happened in the game. Okay, you see what we're talking about?
You have reminded us that we must always.
I told you. It's even if I didn't tell you that, it would start to become very obvious.
I wish to offer you this old parchment.
Just I was basically run around in the base, go gather up a couple items, and then fight the demon, and just the least they could have done to transition between those scenes.
He wishes to meet you.
Oh wow! And they're clearly shuttling you through this game at this point, this dialogue.
Go meet up with Boz finally.
Old house,
So
the one he lived in when he was a human.
I like just how quickly this is going. It's not even it is an abrupt transition.
They're literally pushing you out the door and well, get out of here. We don't got anything more.
This was a meeting one day in the morning, and then these are the scenes that they wrote that afternoon.
Look, we got all of these assets done. We can get these people in for these line recordings to kind of cover up for the fact that all the other stuff that they're going to do we can't actually put in the game. Oh, right. It's always so incredibly apparent that they can't put items directly in your inventory. I love that. It happened right at the start of the episode too. Anyway, raise the dead, sure. It happened at the start of the episode too with like the key you got from the guard, but it's like no more obvious than there. Where it's like, take this. Oh, I dropped on the ground. Anyway, like maybe we should go check. No, I guess we're not doing. Oh, it's Yob. His name is Yob.
Yeah.
No, and Namtar is dead, and they also locked the door to make sure that you can't. Whatever. Let's just. We were gonna accuse Krill of like being. Whatever. We didn't have the time. Go meet up with Boz. Get on with the game already. We couldn't get Krill to record any more lines.
Wow.
Oh, I love it. And it's just like, yeah, like the Tetra Trust mission was, the Secret Factory mission was just like the point where it starts, like I said, it starts to get super glitchy in that area in particular, especially with like the train and the dogs and that like weird walkway, the way the trains worked right at the end of that section.
So
And with like all the robots chasing after you and everything looking just super janky and bad, and you just, like the gameplay was walking past them.
Also, I like that this game just something I hadn't really noticed is that this game feels bleak, but not in a way that is intentional. Like, okay, clearly the sky is gray, but it doesn't feel like if the sky was blue, it would be happy. You know what I mean? It just feels like
the draw distance is really a problem.
Very.
Anyway,
drab.
you can look around in this area as much as you want, but yeah, you can look around in this area as much as you want, but there's nothing here because they ran out of money. So just go look for this thing.
So this thing where you like do the long jump and then you take fall damage. That's like one of those scenes where it's like they show somebody like mid like clapping their heels together in like a jump. Oh, this is David Bowie, isn't it?
Yeah, this is David Bowie. We saw a little bit of a preview of him from.
So here you are.
Also, I just want you to sit here and imagine David Bowie sitting in a recording studio reading these lines.
Dagobah told me much about your exploits. You're not the first video.
He's
game
just
player
like,
to get
I
your
guess.
soul trapped in this
I
dimension.
guess I'm under contract.
You're certainly
My
the first to stay alive
kids.
for so long.
Is this what kids like these days? I'm.
Yeah, I mean that's apparently, at least according to David
So
Bowie,
now
he's
he
just
has
like, yeah, my
lost
kid was really into
reservoir
video
of
games, so
soul.
I'm like, maybe I should do something with that.
Better to die 1,000 deaths than
There it is. There's the line. I couldn't. I thought that happened before this, but I guess that's where the line actually comes from. Kushu Lane, you say?
The thing is, I actually can picture David Bowie saying this. I could.
I guess, but it's like, I don't know. I think about the thing of like, you're the only video game player that's gotten this far. It's maybe the like the other stuff, sure.
It feels very much like a '90s like educational video.
Suffering souls.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like
They endure
you're in a room and you're talking to David Bowie, and
Is
this
this
is what we got him for. Well, like I said, one of the other things that you could do is that there is a second David Bowie, David Twowie, if you will. That's nothing. That actually sings songs off of ours, but I didn't actually go search out that. It's kind of like a little the side mission type of thing that you can do, but it also actually plays the songs. So
We missed out on so much.
the juiciest souls are from your dimension.
Yeah. I feel like David Bowie. We missed out on a lot. This game robbed us of David Bowie making video game cameos for 10 years.
The soul has come here.
That's probably
Only
actually
take
true.
the demon to capture and take it
And it's
to
probably
Asteroid.
actually
Condemns
true.
it for all
Like
eternity.
we could have had, he could have been in a Danganronpa game. I know it's a little bit unlikely, but David Bowie, he could have been in like one of these critically acclaimed games.
As long as your
And
soul
he's just
is
kind of like,
prisoner in Omikron,
I don't know, man.
you are
Omikron
being
looked good.
haunted by a
Like
demon.
imagine David Bowie.
Seemed good.
David Bowie in a Souls game. Like you've just imagined that.
I don't
and-
think that they were gonna. I
The
would
only
say
way to save your soul is to kill Asteroid.
Metal Gear.
Oh,
Nobody
of
knows
course.
where
Yeah.
you
He would have been a boss in
Not to
Metal Gear
mention
game,
how to
Yeah.
go about killing
Yeah.
him.
or maybe like one of the more minor characters on the
Let me
codec
think.
calls.
There might be a
But
way to find
instead-
out more about Asteroid.
I mean, like You know, I can
There's an
totally
old parchment
picture,
that comes
you know,
with
David
He looks
Bowie.
pretty good for Omicron. I'll say that.
Like he's clearly like
Like, look at that
elevating
face.
his game.
That face is
Figure
great.
it. Like, I wonder if he designed his own character.
The parchment is in the
If he
central
did,
library of Omikron.
It's
under
it's
strict
it's not
guard
bad.
of
It looks
the
goofy,
pyramid.
but
It looks goofy.
speaking of
in a
Dark
way-
Souls,
like this
he does
this
look
looks
like a character you fight in Painted World.
The survival
Yeah,
of your
exactly.
soul is at stake.
What is his name? It's like that.
Legate
Some-
Reshev protects
I don't
his
hate it.
estates
I
from
do
the
think his
cobalt
headgear is a little bit silly, and
still hopes
I
to
do think that he
discover
still
some
suffers
secrets
from
of the
being
ancient
written in
world.
Omicron.
All access
But it's
to
like,
these
you know, for God's sake, compared to a lot of the other characters and how they look, he actually looks pretty goddamn good with like the
library
facial
is in the Lahore
capture
City.
comparatively.
What they
Of course,
do
you
is-
know exactly why that is.
in classic David Bowie style, he makes this kitschy style look good by leaning into it and just like, okay, you know what, fuck it. My chest is just like, it's a virtual hologram and you can just see through it. I'm
He's
just
the
this-
virtual being, Boz.
Like, he looks so
Something
unique
tells
in
me
that
help is
thing. Like,
keeping
it's
up.
so iconic.
He was on
Well,
the cover for the
An
game.
old legend
You gotta remember that.
Yeah. And also, I mean, you look at like the facial thing. It's like they clearly did a good job like capturing his facial features. They don't do that with characters. Like they just
Nope.
they just have them angrily scowl all the time. And just,
And then, like, when their face resets back to normal, it's like maybe Dagobah is the only one that looks good aside from Boz.
like I have no, I'm not keeping up with anything David Bowie is saying here, but it's like,
Oh,
it's,
and like he delivers lines pretty well and everything too. Whatever, you're going into Hura to go into a library because again they don't have the ability to naturally give you exposition for the game anymore.
also adventure games love memory cards these days. That's just
Well,
enough.
that's a city pass. I got one for John Fur. That's
Okay,
at
fair.
least that's a thing. Now we're going into Hura. We have seen like a little bit. Like you could look at posters on the walls of places. Sliders still working as good as ever.
Slider jam.
It's a traffic jam because of myself. But, you know. By
Also,
the way, that whole thing about like doing manual riding around in sliders is a thing. It's just didn't actually come up like you might have thought it would in Pamoka. Well, and anyway, yeah. We saw like posters of this earlier. It's the Waterland. This is like desert land. Next is Waterland. But first, cue up flock of seagulls. And yeah, it's yeah, that's the song. Yeah, it's sort of a Venice type of thing. And actually, you don't get access to sliders at all because, again, it's a much smaller area because they ran out of money.
Again, I love that it's still 100 feet away.
Oh yeah, still, and it's like it's this lush like Venice type of area
Yeah.
as opposed to. So that's all it is there, eh? Two big buildings. And yeah, like you get the ability to call sliders, but you can't actually call sliders anywhere. Maybe they were planning for them to be boats at one point, but they ran out of money. Like I can say that as much as it's. And hey, all right.
So seedy.
So this is color here is green compared to Lahura's yellow and Anakba's blue. There you go.
But it's still pretty bleak because the sky still, like the draw distance again, is just
It's still
awful.
quite bad.
Like you can barely see. It's just enough so they could technically say you could see this other area from that shore.
I mean, the game was clearly supposed to be like the super open world thing, but aside from like Johnpur, by the time Johnpur came around, it was already thrown out the window. Like you remember, how many places did I need to go to in Johnpur compared to like Anakba?
So this was,
There's the tool from Pets Cop.
and they
Why
clearly
not?
wrote this from beginning, middle to end. And I feel like there's almost no point in
Oh,
saying.
I think that this was all written out. In fact, one of the things that I'll probably talk about a little bit later in this episode, because, well, it ain't just the areas that are kind of starting to fall apart, is that if you look up like guides for this game, especially on like game FAQs specifically, gee, I wonder what I'm referring to. Like, basically, They do. The one I was looking at least has an entire list of like unused dialogue, and you can get a pretty clear idea of what was supposed to happen. It's, needless to say, quite different. Oh, hey, Jenna.
I was afraid he'd say that. Killing
You just
Really?
sound exhausted. I know I've said that before, but
Like, oh god, you couldn't even properly frame yourself up in this, and also you couldn't help me either. It's just again like calling to say, hey, you doing stuff.
where is she?
Who knows?
Presumably she's in
The
her
brown void.
After Namtar's betrayal, it would have
She's
been
in her
too dangerous
room,
to stay in the same
but
place.
not in a way like she's holding, like she's doing a selfie kind of thing, or
On the
she's.
cliff, behind the Hura
This is not
library.
a realistic Zoom call.
Dakaba and the others are already
No, this is fair enough. I mean, I suppose we've had a lot more experience with that now, haven't we?
Mhm.
Well, anyway,
I'm sorry.
yeah, you know, something I forgot to do is that I forgot to actually go into Zaur's apartment, which was back in Lahura. I guess I could go back. Actually, no, it's on Lahura. It's in Anakba. Like, I guess because he's part of the secret prison, he gets more ability to go live from places in whatever or some reincarnation spell. Hope you all enjoyed Zaur.
I want to point out this is a really minor thing, and it's a universe ahead of where this game is. But I do want to point out you're walking around a city as just this totalitarian cop, and
Yeah.
nobody.
Well, now
says
he's dead.
shit. Mhm, yeah,
And now I'm a professor. Let's take a
You're
look.
a professor of horse racing.
Hates inactivity, ignorance, anything that detracts him from his work. Well, you know, it's really going to detract him from his work, fucking dying because he was possessed by the Nomad soul.
Also, he's said to be on the point of discovering a theory that reconciles the gravitational polemic forces. So this just is like some genius that we're just taking out of the world and just to do some stupid missions.
No, to do some stupid missions. No, to get into the secret part of the library.
Have a nice day.
And again, it's not clear if people die when you Nomad soul.
It's not clear if that librarian.
Sayao is definitely dead.
That librarian was evil.
I mean, well, no, he wasn't a librarian. He was I mean, this guy might be. I don't know, but like,
The guard.
Okay. Lauer definitely was evil. He's like a totalitarian evil guy.
Mhm.
Sayao certainly wasn't. Now she is being tortured for weeks until she dies.
Yeah.
If she didn't outright die there by me
Yeah.
unpossessing her. Boy, this game, like, here's the thing. Even if this game was totally, like, idealized, they don't even, like, begin to touch the whole thing about how being a nomad soul is so fucked. And, like, how nobody actually seems to care, and everybody is just, like, still so ready to give you to heap praise upon you. Without even thinking about, like,
I'm doing some
the
research
cost here. And I could be hopping around in a lot more bodies.
Third planet of
I
the fourth
like that. Oh, okay. I'm too old to explore the library in search of it. Well, that.
Well,
That-
Bring
Okay.
back the
trust me,
information I
it's
want,
like,
and I'll lend you my
did you see the size of the library?
Okay, that's fair.
I mean, anyway. And then there's also this guy here. Hey. No, not that. Let's at least get, like, a reason why I can't just... Okay, so I gotta go put back the book that I took out. This is, like, forbidden knowledge, whatever. Sure. So, by the way, if you want a quick rundown on, like, the actual lore that you get from this area, basically, Hamastagan is it's a gigantic necropolis. It is the city of the dead where all of the sorcerers and practitioners of the art predating the Cobalt War were buried. It contains a super cool spell book called the Book of Naut. And yeah, that's might have information on how to kill Astaroth. Because that's kind of the only thing that could stop anything, just like killing Satan himself, basically.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So basically, we need to get a translation to actually figure out where Hamastagan is. And to do that, we need to use this Tradutek which is like an automatic translator to translate it.
I can't figure out what they're going for with the language here. Okay, I
Don't even worry about it.
it just feels like they call things something different. Like it's not like Star Wars where it feels like there's a clear, aesthetic for choices with some humorous like real world like references. It's just like no, they just like make things sound like northern, like Norse or like Latin or like Greek.
It is
or
absolutely
like
Norse or Celtic. Did you miss how we had references to the character Cuchulainn?
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah.
It's just this weird, like, there's no coherence to it. It's just like, it's not even just a mishmash of influences. It's like they just seem to name everything differently. Like, it's just like they just name everything separately.
Okay, so we need a discreet way of actually being able to copy this, because you're not allowed to copy things from the secret book place. So let's just shut off the lights.
Really?
Yeah, I heard you just go, and then it's like, wait a second. Discreet. By the way, did you even know that was a light switch? I'm glad I've watched several playthroughs of the game already because it is not clear.
Well, I mean, why would there be something that would make it so simple to steal something? It's like putting like this tightly guarded library.
Well, the only people allowed, there's only a select few people presumably allowed into that part of the library, so it'd be pretty easy to figure out if somebody managed to copy that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
The forbidden knowledge books, basically.
Mm-hmm. And then just like...
Even if it was intended to help with their research by translating whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Look, I solved the puzzle. Let's go over to the Awakened base. I got a new one. Which is just right over here. Also, cliffs? Part of the whole thing with Omikron is that it's taking place underneath a giant dome. I don't really know how cliffs fit in here. Whatever.
Oh, it's all underneath the giant dome?
Yeah. Omikron is not actually the name of the world. It's the name of the city-state that exists underneath a dome because basically, I think it might have been due to the Cobalt War in particular. The entire... No. Their sun exploded, so the entire world is uninhabitable except for domed city-states.
Oh, that's pretty interesting.
Omikron specifically is shut off from everybody else due to the supercomputer X that controls their society, as per the David Bowie song "Save Your Machine."
Mm-hmm.
So, and it has chosen not to contact anybody else that even might still be alive on the planet.
Wow. Okay, that's actually.
And then Reshef is taking orders directly from X, but he's the only person who does. So wink, wink.
So he becomes the de facto leader because of that. Okay.
Yeah, that's all things that are super relevant to the plot line. Like I said, I'm just going to give you the rundown on the lore at this point in time.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter. This is roughly the size of the entire city.
Mm-hmm.
Damn, dude. What about Socks? And Krill? And, I forgot his name again. Who's the fighting guy?
Also, I like that the draw distance is just so precisely tuned so it's awkward, but not helpful. It's just
it's god awful. It makes it look bad it makes it look bad whenever you get into any area.
It makes it look bad anytime you're actually looking across something, across the room.
Those? I guess maybe one of these characters are those two characters that were always studying something in the middle of the room that didn't care when people were getting killed and everything. Whatever. Let's go talk to Dakaba and Jenna.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, thanks, Poppin. Well, at least I was able to see that ring. Pretty nice place, eh?
It's always it's a little bit unclear at any given time if you're inside or outside. Just a little bit.
Well, you're not going to have to worry about it too much because this is the only time we're going to see the fucking Awakened base in Hura.
Very interesting.
I hope you enjoyed your time here.
This text explains
Wait,
how to
what?
get the
Are you
house done.
serious? We're going to another
City
zone?
of the dead.
Well, there's only one more zone, but no, we're not going to it.
You must bring
We're going
together
to the fourth area.
the jewels
We're
of
going to the
Pamoka,
game
the god of
finale after this episode.
Oh my god, are you serious?
this is the necropolis.
Only indication refers to
That
I hope you
rules.
enjoyed your time in Hura because we're only going to be here for how long's left in the episode? About 20 more minutes.
still
Yep,
at
yep.
the bottom of
Okay.
Marley well.
And yeah, like I said, I hope you enjoyed the Awakened base because this is all you're seeing of it.
Wow. That is so. There's basically been
Oh yeah, I told you that it's just like even if I didn't tell you, it would become very obvious.
so the desert, the desert area with John Per. That was a whole thing. Like there was multiple missions that you were doing.
We had like 4 different missions and different stuff like that, and
And
like,
granted, those missions weren't good. Nothing about
and
it was good.
they weren't even nearly as fleshed out as like the ones back in Anakba. You remember how like there were multiple ways to do some of those missions and everything?
Yeah, that's
You could
right.
already see it kind of happening there, but then, like I said, it was the secret Tetra Trust factory that it's like things clearly just were like,
Kewen,
we gotta go.
I
We have
no
these
idea.
many assets already created. We're gonna have to like cobble together the rest of the story here.
So I was
he is the last
shocked when you told me that we're actually getting to the finale. Like that,
Oh, dude, we got like 1 or 2 more episodes left.
this game is so sprawlingly ambitious up to this point, and now it's just like new area.
Go, 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 go. We don't have anything else to do in here.
I love that the library, like that was a whole big library, and the whole thing is like a mission that you could solve by turning on a light.
Turn
Like,
turn
they-
off the lights.
Yep. They have just yeah,
Go look up something for some guy and turn off. Well, reincarnate. Look up something for some guy. Turn off the lights. Also, yeah, like, and they made this entire area. They don't get to use it because that's all you need to do. You just need to go in here to go talk to Dakoba.
wow.
Anyway, so we're gonna go over to Ymir Square, which, oh boy. Well, I mean, it's not actually too bad to start with, but I'll get into. This is the thing that I need the guide for, basically. Well, not this, but the next thing is what I need the guide for. Like,
Wow.
you'll understand what I mean soon enough.
Okay.
Anyway, yeah, there are like actual. There's no place to go in here except for Ymir Square and the library.
By the way, can you
That's the entirety
talk
of
to
Lahura.
minor characters?
Oh, you think they're good? I think we have one more minor character to be introduced, or one more major or minor character to be introduced in the rest of the game.
Also, I like that you did that long jump and it didn't do damage to you, so it's not even consistent.
Oh, who cares? They don't.
I mean, I just think it's funny because like they clearly have an engine for determining whether you take damage, but that engine
Usually just
is
to prevent you from skipping long, climbing down ladder animations.
Yeah.
You know what I'm referring to.
Yes.
This fucking game. Created by demons to torture me. Oh, okay, well. Anyway, so yeah, obviously.
Is this the section you were talking about?
No, thankfully not. Well, actually, no, I don't even know if it's thankfully not. Anyway, yeah, so it's pretty obvious what you got to do here.
Mm-hmm.
And even though, yeah, I've already got a MS Paint document open with screenshots of all of this to just extend this section slightly longer, I guess.
Could you show the MS Paint document quick, or is that
As long as I don't accidentally pause this, I think I should be good.
okay?
I'm gonna go find this. I mean, you know, you always know it's a good puzzle game or a puzzle game entirely if you got MS Paint documents.
Wow.
This one, which people can't see at home, but it's like this one is what I'm going to be talking about a lot. Remember that little 3x5 grid with the extra little dot on the bottom?
I've already forgotten it.
Okay, cool. It's a 3x5 grid with an extra little dot on the bottom. I don't actually know if this is part of the puzzle, but this is the only thing that I can possibly find, and it seemed to point me in the right direction. I don't know. Whatever. There's 3 other parts of the puzzle. You could easily brute force it from here regardless. There's only 4 pillars to figure out. Blah, blah, blah. It's cool. One of them is somewhere around here. Ah, there we go. Ow. Don't worry, I got it. Oh.
Wait, that was not intentional.
No.
Okay.
This is just tank controls again. I'm getting better at using them. If I actually play a good game with these, I might be able to do it. I might be able to actually like do it right.
Yeah.
Hey, it's another spell shop.
Like, this is one of the things that I'm not able to grasp from watching this is like how awkward the motions must be, but just
Okay, well, you saw the giant triangle in there that had all the pillars around it. There you go. That's the general gist of what I'm looking for here. Drops of shadow in her hair. Why am I making train references? There's the Ars Magica that gives you spells. Like I said, could have done more stuff with like getting that for what am I even thinking of? What, is everybody going into the spell shop right now? Sure, whatever. I don't care. You were blocking me by having NPCs walk up there for no reason.
That is so funny. Like, I'll just fucking kill myself.
Well, I guess I'll do. I can't get out of here easily. I guess I'll die.
This game.
I would rather die than wait for these NPCs to path anywhere.
I would rather take a year off this brilliant professor's life than.
We still don't know if he's not already dead.
Wait, yeah, that's true. 3 or 4 seconds.
Yeah, whatever.
Not even gonna bother with the bridge. Just
look. Do you think I even care about this professor? You think I care about anyone in Omikron? David Bowie told me their souls suck and they're bad.
Honestly, David Bowie's the only defensible individual in these games. He's the only one.
Fuck you, Jenna and Dakova.
And he's dead now.
I think Jenna and Dakova are still alive.
I meant David Bowie, sadly.
Oh, now I'm sad.
Yeah.
This game killed him. Well, anyway. Yeah, I mean, a lot of different areas that would probably be pretty interesting, but I mean, as of right now, it's super obvious that they didn't have the insides of any of these created, which is why I'm doing a scavenger hunt around the city instead. Like, they had this part modeled, so they just, shove some textures in different places. Like I said, yeah, you saw the MS Paint drawing. I already know what all of this is, at least.
Yeah. Also,
even though that one that I found, it's like it didn't seem like I couldn't find whatever the other one was, but whatever. I know what the solution is, regardless. Because I actually lucked onto it on my first try, so whatever.
I like your commitment to this, where you're actually doing these puzzles. You're like, fuck
Dude,
it, I'm actually
we would be
try.
like done with the game otherwise.
Yeah, that's true.
Which maybe, given that I'm already starting to skip the lore, well, maybe. No, I had. Look, you should. We should at least be trying to do the game as it exists.
No, yeah, that's understandable. I mean, we're not giving up completely. We just
Look, only in spirit, not in like actual video.
Wow. It's just the thing with the textures is so funny because it's like that is probably how a lot of puzzles are constructed in games. Like, oh fuck it, we gotta add. We
gotta do a puzzle,
so
but we can't like. We can only use the stuff we've already created.
So we already have the assets for the puzzle, in fact, because we had to do them when we were modeling it. So let's put these on some walls. Yeah.
I find it interesting that they didn't model like each one of the areas of Omikron apparently first. But I guess would you need to do that? It's like you'd think you'd what? I don't know. Because clearly it's like there's. It's so weird how it's just like this is. Let's be honest here. Even if this game was 100% complete as it was intended, like we got to see a taste of that back in Anakba, the very first part of the game. Like what the idealized Omikron would be like.
Yeah.
It's like I still don't think it would be very good.
I mean, yeah, and the thing is, it would be exactly as good as it is right now. It would just be a lot longer. It would be like 12, 13 hours. Well, this is probably 14 or 15 hours total. And it's
Yeah,
like
you got to remember that it's just like I got like over 20 hours already in the game, but that's playing it twice because. But you're also like not seeing me wander around trying to use a screwdriver on literally everything in the awakened base and like asking for ring advice only for it to tell me, "Nah, idiot."
Yeah.
You did wrong. It's super obvious what you're supposed to do. And I'm like, fuck you, David Cage.
But yeah, like 30, 40 hours of this. Can you imagine? Like, that's a
yeah.
we try. Yeah. Okay, it's very easy to imagine. Actually.
So yeah, the last one was that like 3 slashes by I don't know, whatever, because it kind of looked like that 6. There was like a circle of 6 dots there, and that's kind of like there are 6 points on that. I don't think that's how you're supposed to solve that puzzle.
I have some problems with capitalism, as we all know. Like we all know my well-known problems with capitalism, but
Very vocal.
But this whole thing with the budget, it seems to be a good example of capitalism working as intended. Like, really.
Certainly a good example of you should make the game you can make.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, you're not hearing this. Tones, you got to go do the right tones in the right order, and then you got to do it a second time. Okay, whatever. Let's talk about the next puzzle here.
I don't think this is very accessible because, I'm just...
Oh, let's talk about accessibility right now. Okay, so the next puzzle, as I was saying, I'll just spoil it because we don't really have a whole lot left in the episode as it is. But basically... The next area is 16 coffins, a grid of 3x5, and then 1 as you enter the room, kind of like in the middle on the bottom. So like a little sticking out a little bit. And basically, every single one of those contains the gem that I'm looking for. Except only one is the real gem. And the way that this is... I'm going to be honest here, because if you pick up one of those gems, one of the fake ones, you won't know for a while. You won't know until basically you go back and try to use it. So I know that in past playthroughs of this game that I've seen, that basically people just had the solution given to them. Because fuck it. But the other thing is that I don't really know what you were supposed to do to solve this puzzle. It's so okay. Here's like the basics of it. There's like a symbol representing like the left wall, right wall, up wall, down wall. You'll see them as we get up there, basically. And then they got like little hash marks, as you'll see on like the lip of this elevator, horrible janky ass elevator that we're about to see. And it's like, what are they supposed to represent? And I think I know, but that's only because I worked backwards from knowing what the solution is. And again, unlike, say, the Besham attunement ceremony or whatever, which was you literally could not do it wrong, and the only really difficult thing was was getting all of the objects to be able to make it work in the first place. And then, you might as well just use them on each one of the pedestals until it actually worked. This one is just so ridiculously inaccessible. It's the sort of thing that, again, probably would have been worked out if they had more money.
That's what you say that, but then don't you remember the first mission, or the first area? That wasn't. Those puzzles didn't make a ton of sense.
Those are at least like more real world puzzles. They weren't like contrived puzzles like this one. Well, anyway, so yeah, you can see on the elevator there.
Okay.
Like you got symbols and there's like hash marks next to them. So here's the only thing I could figure out. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to look at the symbol that is like on the up wall, the wall in front of you, the northern wall from when you enter the room. Just call it that. And then like you add together, there are multiple of those symbols, so you add them together and then you minus the one is south. So you're supposed to go forward 4. And then same thing with like east and west. Like you add up the east ones and then you minus the west ones, so you're only supposed to go right 1. So basically you go 3x3 grid with 1 little extra dongle once you enter the room. Yeah, there it is. Yeah, 3x3 grid, one little dongle, and I guess what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to go up 4 if you do the math there, and then right 1. And that is the solution. I'm not entirely sure, because it's like, why is it in like a grid of 2x3? Why are these all these like symbols? Why are there multiple symbols of each one's here? Why are there like multiple up symbols and multiple east and west symbols? And I don't fucking know.
This is just like that explanation reminds me of that song "New Math" by Tom Lehrer, where he goes into like all the just how to do like a subtraction, like a 3-digit subtraction in base 8.
Yeah. It just seems like, I don't know. I don't think this puzzle was very well thought out. But it's like I said, as far as I can tell, if you like add up the go up symbol, the one you can see right in front of me, for example, and then minus the down symbol, it's like it equals 4.
And then you go turn ways.
And then you go right 1 after you add and subtract. And it's like, that seems... But why have like the 2x3 grid? Why have multiple symbols? Why? And again, it's like... The traditional way is just to brute force this fucking area.
Yeah.
Go empty out your sneak, grab each one of the 16 jewels, and then try it until you get the right one. But I'm just like, you know what? I know everybody else that has played this game just cheated, so fuck it.
Yeah. Okay.
Fuck it. And I'd say if you are interested in it at all, go and check out some of those extra dialogue lines. It's like the only guide that you can find on game FAQs. So. Like you'll find out how there was supposed to be like a by the way, this isn't even the right solution. I went to the wrong one. So I'm gonna have to go back and do that again. At least I know. There was supposed to be like a museum heist to get one of these jewels, and you were supposed to like go into the Hamastagan with oh god, it looks so good.
This game is such an unintentional art piece. It's awesome, and I'm so glad it's over. It's almost over.
One or two more episodes.
Okay.
1 or 2. That's it.
Thank God.
It's like you were supposed to go into Hamastagan with Dakaba, and he was like going to be reading the Book of Naut with, and it's like none of that's there. We're coming up to the end, baby. We're almost done.
Hooray!
Like we're almost done with Lahura right now, and then it's just Hamastagan, and we're fucking done with the game.
This is such a good game.